The Harley-Davidson Fat Boy launched in 1990 and has been in production ever since. In that time, it has appeared in Hollywood films, sold at auction for nearly $500,000, and stayed in production longer than any other Softail in Harley's history. Number 10. The first production Fat Boy was sold in exactly one color combination: monochromatic fine silver metallic with a silver powder-coated frame and silver disc wheels. Willie G. Davidson wrote that because the entire bike was silver, he needed something bright to set it off. So he added yellow trim to the rocker boxes, the derby cover, the timer cover, and the ignition switch. The bike was not yet officially nicknamed at launch, but within months, the silver paint and the silent silhouette had earned it a name that owners still use today. Gray Ghost. In 2025, Harley released a limited production Gray Ghost edition as a direct tribute to the original 1990 color scheme. Number 9. The Fat Boy did not roll off the assembly line in 1990 fully formed. The prototype was unveiled at Daytona Bike Week in 1988, 2 years before the production version was sold. Willie G. Davidson rode the prototype himself, first to Daytona in 1988 and then again in 1989, to gather direct feedback from riders. He went back to Milwaukee, made adjustments, and returned the next year for another round. The bike was not announced for production until both Willie G. and the styling team were satisfied that the design was finished. Number 8. The Fat Boy has been in continuous production since 1990, and during that time it has been powered by 4 complete generations of Harley-Davidson big twin engines. From 1990 to 1999, the bike used the Evolution engine, displacing 1,340 cubic centimeters, and putting out roughly 67 horsepower at the rear wheel. In 2000, the Fat Boy received the Twin Cam 88B, the first counterbalanced big twin Harley ever installed in a Softail, displacing 1,450 cubic centimeters. In 2007, displacement grew to 1,584 cubic centimeters with the Twin Cam 96B, and a 6-speed transmission replaced the older 5-speed. In 2012, the bike moved up again to the 1,690 cubic centimeter Twin Cam 103. In 2018, every big twin Harley moved to the Milwaukee 8 platform, and the Fat Boy was among the first Softails to receive it. The current 2025 model carries the Milwaukee 8 117 custom engine, producing 101 horsepower and 122 pound-feet of torque. Number 7. The 2018 redesign was the largest single change in the Fat Boy's history. Harley collapsed the old Dyna and Softail platforms into a single new chassis, and the Fat Boy was rebuilt around it. The frame became stiffer and lighter. The twin rear shocks were replaced with a single hidden monoshock under the seat, with hydraulic preload adjustment by hand. The forks were replaced with Showa dual bending valve units. The wheels grew to 18 inches at both ends. The rear tire grew to 240 millimeters wide, the largest stock tire on any Harley in the lineup at the time of launch. The headlight was redesigned into a new chrome nacelle. The disc wheels stayed. The silhouette stayed. Everything underneath was new. The Fat Boy has been in production longer than any other Softail in Harley-Davidson history. It has survived 4 engine platforms, one of the most famous motorcycle appearances in cinema, and a market that has buried hundreds of competing cruiser models in the same span of time. In 2020, to mark 30 years of continuous production, Harley released a limited 30th anniversary edition with blacked-out Lakester wheels and bronze tone accents on the rocker covers and timer cover. The 1990 prototype that Willie G rode to Daytona is preserved in the Harley-Davidson Museum in Milwaukee. Hit subscribe. The Fat Boy has been in production for 35 years. This channel just needs to make it to next Tuesday. Number 5. In 2010, Harley introduced a model variant called the Fat Boy Low. The Low dropped the seat height to 24 1/4 inches, achieved through reduced front and rear suspension travel and a thinner saddle. That number remains the lowest factory seat height Harley-Davidson has ever produced on a full-size production motorcycle. The Low continued in the lineup through the end of the twin-cam era and was retired when the entire model line was redesigned around the Milwaukee 8 in 2018. Number 4. Willie G described the wheels as the defining characteristic of the 1990 Fat Boy. The idea was to give the bike a profile that nothing else on the road shared. The cast aluminum disc design, later named Lakester after the streamlined dry lake racers of the 1930s and the 1940s that used solid wheel covers for aerodynamics, became the visual signature that is carried through every generation of the model. When Harley redesigned the Fat Boy in 2018, the chassis, the suspension, the engine, the headlight, and the fenders all changed. The wheels did not. The new Lakester wheels were lighter and stronger than the originals, but the solid disc design was untouched. 35 years later, those wheels are still what people see first when they look at a Fat Boy from across a parking lot. Number 3. In 1991, 1 year after the Fat Boy went on sale, James Cameron started filming Terminator 2: Judgment Day. He was looking for a motorcycle for the T-800 character that would photograph well in low light and at speed. The production stunt coordinator, Peter Kent, who served as Arnold Schwarzenegger's stunt double for 14 separate films, has said in interviews with Motorcycle News that the team bought 5 Fat Boys after reading the script. Modifications were made to the exhaust, the carburetors, and the valve trains on 2 of them to handle the demands of stunt work. Cameron used the solid disc wheels as a visual signature. In the Los Angeles River chase, in the highway pursuit, and in the final scene at the steel mill, the wheels read on screen unlike any other motorcycle in production at the time. The film grossed $205 million worldwide, and it turned the Fat Boy into a global icon. In 2018, the specific motorcycle ridden by Schwarzenegger sold at auction for $480,000. The bike continued to appear in films and television for decades after. Terminator Genesis, Wild Hogs, Sons of Anarchy, Seinfeld, CSI Miami. Number 2, the bike that became the Fat Boy didn't start in Milwaukee. It started in Canada. In 1987, the general manager of Harley-Davidson Montreal, Duke Dufour, and one of his technicians, Denny Lavoie, built a custom Softail in the back of the dealership. They called it the Low Boy. The bike had slammed rear suspension, an aluminum disc wheel up front, a fiberglass front fender, and a wide handlebar. It was the first time anyone at a Harley-Davidson dealership had put a solid disc wheel on a Softail platform. A Harley-Davidson executive named Jerry Wilkie happened to see the Low Boy in Montreal, recognized that the design language was something the factory could build on, and arranged for an example to be shipped to Milwaukee. The styling team led by Willie G. Davidson and Louis Netz took the concept and developed it into the production motorcycle that launched in 1990 as the Fat Boy. Number 1. For 35 years, a single rumor has followed the Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. The story goes that the name is a deliberate combination of Fat Man and Little Boy. The 2 atomic bombs dropped on Japan in 1945. The silver paint is supposed to evoke the Enola Gay. The yellow trim around the rocker boxes is supposed to mirror the markings on the bombs themselves. The solid disc wheels are supposed to resemble the wheels on the B-29 Super Fortress. The whole package, according to the rumor, was Harley's revenge on the Japanese motorcycle manufacturers who had eroded American market share through the 1970s and the 1980s. It's a story that has been printed in books, repeated in viral videos, and argued about in comment sections for 3 decades. Snopes has marked it false. Willie G. Davidson, the man who actually designed the bike, has personally denied it in writing. In a 2015 interview, Harley-Davidson's vice president of styling Scott Miller confirmed the same thing. In his book, 100 Years of Harley-Davidson, Willie G. wrote that the design team was looking for a name that was unusual and a little irreverent. When the prototype rolled out for the first time, somebody noticed that the bike looked fat when viewed head-on. The wide front fork, the deep fenders, and the solid disc wheels gave it a stance that no other Harley in the lineup had at the time. The name stuck because it described what people were already calling it on the shop floor. That's the whole story.